Hi, this is Mrs. Lewis, and if you're listening to this video, you are in my physical science class, and we're starting chapter 11. And you have been given the task of finding out and answering the question, is light a wave or a particle? And this is for section 1 of chapter 11. Typically, a group size for this will be groups of 2. And I'm just going to read this along with you, and then we'll have some discussion. Introduction. Light is often thought of as a wave, and it does exhibit wave properties. However, many observations of light require it to be considered a particle. How should light be described? You and your partner's task is to research, analyze, evaluate, and critique claims that suggest light behaves both as a wave and as a particle. You will be partnered up with one classmate, and the research will be divided between the two of you for the two behaviors of light. One of you will research wave behavior and the other will research particle behavior when it comes to light. Once each of you researches their behavior, you will meet to discuss your findings and assemble conclusions of the two models. Once you have finished your research, you and your partner will create a poster to describe the two models of light. So let's talk about the poster. There will be just one poster that will depict both of your findings. And remember, your grading is based on how well you researched, how did you analyze that research, how did you evaluate both the research that you did and the research you were given by your partner, and how well did you critique the claims that were suggested. There's a couple of things to help you through this. And that's a process. So you're going to use all the different resources, and I'm going to tell you now your requirement is to use at least 3 resources apiece. And you will need to have those written down to show to me for proof later as part of your grade. So you will use your resources to answer the following questions. Number 1, what observations or experimental results cause scientists to believe that light travels as a wave? What observations or experimental results cause scientists to believe that light travels as a particle? So if you are doing this one, then your partner will be answering this question. Were there any instances where your research showed an observation or experimental result that could be explained using both models? And if so, explain how the observation or result fit both of those models. Once you and your partner have completed your research, you will evaluate your individual claims, evidence, and reasoning to determine which are legitimate. You will then use these legitimate items to create a poster describing the two models. So resources. Many resources can be used to assist your research. These include journal articles, websites, and scientific news and magazines, all of which can be found online. You might also visit a university, science center, a laboratory. Now, obviously that's not possible, but you can visit that again through online. You can also interview an expert in the field. I know that there are several teachers. There's a physics teacher at Mac that if you contact them through email, they could also give you some answers. So be creative. I'm looking for the wow factor when grading, in addition to correctness. This is how you will be graded. There's 3 sections: task, process, poster. So for here, this is where you will be graded by myself. Goes on a scale from 0 to 15 for each of these categories. So you have a possible of 45 points just from this project. So the tasks were not completed. Some effort was made to complete the task, but the major ideas are missing. The tasks were completed, but some information was omitted or incorrect. The tasks were completed with great attention to detail. The process was not followed. The process was begun, but not all questions were answered. The process was followed, but some answers were incorrect. The project showed thorough research and a deep understanding of the topic. Your poster, there was no attempt to create a poster. There was a minimal effort making the poster. There was good material and ideas in the poster. The poster was excellent and showed knowledge of the topic. As always, neatness counts. There will be an additional 16 points that you will be grading yourself, as well as your team members will be grading you. So, honesty is the best policy, and we've been using this all year. Contribution to group goals. What was your consideration of others? Contribution of knowledge. Working and sharing with others. So let's look and see what a perfect score looks like for contribution of goals. Consistently and actively works towards group goals, willingly accepts and fulfills individual role within the group, shows sensitivity to the feelings and learning needs of others, values the knowledge, opinion, and skills of all group members, consistently and actively contributes knowledge, opinions, and skills without prompting or reminding, helps the group identify necessary changes and encourages group action for change, does assigned work without reminders. A 3, works towards group goals without occasional prompting, accepts and fulfills individual roles within group, shows and expresses sensitivity to the feelings of others, encourages the participation of others, contributes knowledge, opinions, and skills without prompting or reminding, willingly participates in needed changes, usually does the assigned work, and rarely needs reminding. Works towards group goals with occasional prompting, shows sensitivity to the feelings of others, contributes information to the group with occasional prompting and reminding, participates in needed changes with occasional prompting, often needs reminding to do the assigned work. Works towards group goals only when prompted, needs occasional reminders to be sensitive to the feelings of others, contributes information to the group only when prompted, participates in needed changes when prompted and encouraged, always or often relies on others to do the work. So a little extra for you, background information. The debate between whether light is a wave or particle has been around for centuries. Newton, for example, believed light was a particle. About a century later, Thomas Young established that light has wave properties. With the development of quantum mechanics, it was determined that both a wave model and particle model were needed to explain the nature of light. This is often called wave-particle duality. Quantum mechanics also postulates or suggests that particles such as electrons have wave properties as well. So when you're on this journey and you're doing your exploration, you need to review wave characteristics of such things as water waves and particle characteristics of objects, such as momentum and energy. Some resource suggestions for you: any website that looks into both the wave and particle nature of light. Some even include small demonstrations of investigations that could be explained by one of these models. YouTube should not obviously be your only source, but it's a good one. Khan Academy is another resource that you could use. Some possible keywords in the beginning of your research would be interference patterns, diffraction, polarization, research by any of these scientists, photoelectric effect, and reflection and refraction of light. You will present in front of the class in 5 days' time. Make sure that you and your partner both keep individual notes that answers the process and shows all the things that we've already discussed, so that the notes can reflect your research, analyzation of that research, how you evaluated it, and your critique claims.